Hello, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help, to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Friday, so I'm here with the Tech Divas. Oh my gosh. Listen, you are safe because I am not a techie, and they're going to break this down so we can all understand how to use technology in our business. So, with that, I just want to say hi to my friend and colleague, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. We've got Dr. Tachi in the clubhouse. Hi,
Woohoo!
all things social media. We are rolling, 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 and we're looking forward to hearing from Terry Johnson online everywhere, all the way from New York City. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. How you doing this morning, friend?
I'm doing very well.
Good.
Welcome to everybody watching live on the replay in Clubhouse. However, you are getting this, we want to say thank you for tuning in and being a part of the community. Come on in. Let's sit back and relax and get the program started. We start every tech day or every Tech Life Weekly with this day in tech history. So, we're going to share a little bit of tech history with you today. And I'm going to begin with a story for November 17th, 1970. Douglas Engelbart receives a U.S. patent 3,541,541 for his X-Y position indicator for a display system,
Mm.
more commonly known as the computer mouse. I'm
Wow.
so glad he decided to change the name. Engelbert called his device a mouse because the cord looked like a tail. The mouse was first prototyped in 1964, but was not demoed until 1968 and was not included with a commercial computer until the Xerox 8010 Star Information System in 1981. Apple first brought the mouse to a personal computer with the Lisa in 1983.
Mm.
However, the mouse did not become ubiquitous until after 1984 when Apple's Macintosh popularized the device.
Wow. The big
Anybody know what ubiquitous means? Because
I
I'm like,
do.
yeah, we need a definition. Because go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
So what was ubiquitous? I'm trying to understand.
The mouse, the creation of the mouse. Ubiquitous, an adjective present, appearing, or found everywhere. Present, appearing, and found everywhere.
Com-
So now we know what
commonplace. It didn't become commonplace.
commonplace. Yeah, okay, they could have said commonplace.
Okay. Popular.
Everybody, present everywhere, all over. It's all over the place. Pervasive is still a big word. I was like, what is ubiquitous? Okay.
We used to have a club at when I was at Howard called Ubiquity, which was like that same concept.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad we now understand what the word means.
Oh my goodness.
Second story, November 18, 1963. Bell Telephone offers the first electronic push button telephones to customers in Carnegie and Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Dual tone multi frequency DTMF technology, touch tone, was also introduced on the same day in order to accommodate the new push button telephones.
Oh yeah, my grandma got one, and it was the bomb. We lived outside of Carnegie. She lived outside of Carnegie. Yeah, I remember that. We went
So,
from Rotary.
yeah, so there was rotary, and then dual tone technology popped in, which now they call it touch tone.
Mhm.
Um, do we still use that? I don't think so.
Well, it depends on whose house you're in.
Mm.
Okay, you probably don't use it. But there's still
Yeah,
people who have landlines and the
yeah.
cell phone.
Okay, so November 19th, 2006, as Black Friday approaches, Nintendo releases the Wii Game Console to compete with the Sony PlayStation 3 and the Microsoft Xbox 360. By foregoing raw computing power for increased player interaction, utilizing the innovative motion sensitive Wiimote controller, the Wii defied expectations and became the best-selling seventh generation game console. I can remember trying to find the Wii everywhere, and it was like, you know, did GameStop have it? No. Target? No. And people were really trying to get it. And on Black Friday, they were selling out. It was interesting.
Mm. Wow.
And our last story today, Amazon ignites the Kindle. March 19th, 2007, Amazon introduces their Kindle ebook reader. Where other companies had released ebook readers in previous years with limited success, the Kindle's integration with the Amazon's industry-leading book distribution system helped catapult the e-reader into the mainstream consciousness. The Kindle sold out within 5 hours of its debut.
Wow.
So this was actual device that you could read books on, and now you can get the app on your tablets and phones to read. That is your week in tech history. Anybody want to comment?
Well, Pat says hi there, all the way from North Carolina.
Hey, Pat.
And Miss Brenna's in the house.
Brenna.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was,
I just want to say that if you're looking for your electronics this year, you better shop now, because I was in Best Buy and it was just a no-go.
It was slim pickings in Best Buy.
It was no-go on a lot of things. So, yeah, I just don't know.
Well, people will do what they do and they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they will.
Maybe we'll play with the boxes.
Which is last year.
Okay. With the supply chain being held up everywhere, I'm going to Jamba Juice, and Jamba Juice is not packing their juices in their what is it? Where their logo and stuff is on the cups. It's just a plain plastic cup with no logo, no nothing. And they tell you when you walk in that, due to supply chain shortage, you may not be able to get certain drinks the way you want because they don't have, what they're waiting on a shipment of different things. But I'm telling you, all their cups, there is no logos on them or nothing. It's just a plain cup.
Basics.
It's basic. Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
Well, that's a whole thing across the industry. I was listening to NPR probably a couple of weeks ago, and no more than that, probably about a month ago, and they were talking about small suppliers like that packaging, not just packaging, but containers are in short supply. And so that the people, if you're a smaller, like craft business, like a small, what is the name for a gourmet food, like a small gourmet food place or whatever,
boutique.
You're probably going to have, basically, you're going to have a problem getting these supplies unless you're a bigger, like if you're Heinz, you're not going to have a problem. But if you are like a smaller one, you may have a problem.
Wow.
Right. So you're going to, you really need to be figuring out your packaging and things, because really interesting. You normally see it in a certain kind of box and you're like, what? This is different.
Not familiar. Yeah. Now it's in basic brown paper wrapping.
Right.
So Patricia says, let's see here. Yolanda says, hi, how you doing, Yolanda? Great to have you in the house. She says, maybe go old school this year, back to basics. Yeah.
Right. And reach out and touch somebody, pull out the touch tone phone and, hey, I just want to call and say hello or whatever. have Alexa or whoever the other person is that I am not going to call the name and send a phone call, do something. But the old school method was, oh, wait, write a letter.
Mm, I'm just saying.
I remember my mother used to make us write, not, well, encouraged us to write letters to our grandmother and
Mhm.
to our aunts. Sit down and write a letter to your aunt, to your grandmother, to
Exactly.
different people. And we had to learn how to write a letter.
Yep.
Christmas
People
card.
now don't know.
Yeah, you're right, Dr. Tachi. They don't. And we made Christmas cards or we made Thanksgiving cards um, and sent it.
Brenna is a paper crafter. She makes Christmas cards and greeting cards. That she says that's one of her outlets.
Right.
That how we all have different hobbies and things.
Mhm.
Now Patricia says I took some fresh greens, homemade cornbread to my 97-year-old cousin yesterday. Her eyes lit up like I gave her $1 million. Yeah, I would receive that too.
And maybe like Pat said, going back to old school, a visit from somebody,
Mhm.
maybe not just bringing out, let me give you a gift card or
Yeah.
let me just cash you out or cash app you, Venmo you, PayPal you, whatever it is. Maybe you just go and see them
Oh,
or
stop by.
make some kind of human connection. Since they did let us out the house a little bit, we can do something.
How about that? Now, Brenda says our products are held up in regard as sourcing, but shipping for our customers is promised if ordered by December 10th. She's talking about Happy
Norwex.
Green and Cream Norwich products.
Right.
So, it's not too late to order from there.
Right.
Yes.
I'm really liking Pat's suggestion about old school.
I do too. I think people have missed that for the last couple of years, and now we've grown to appreciate it. We value it. Let's put this. We value it more.
Oh, like writing thank you cards to your clients
Yeah, yeah. Just little stuff.
and put it in the mail.
Amazing.
Mm,
Absolutely. Hmm.
Absolutely. I think there's still beauty in the handcrafted and the handwritten. I love it all day long. In fact, when it's funny that someone said the other day, um, when I sent out a T-shirt that I made for them, that I hand do. She said I felt like I was getting a present because I wrap it like it's going to be a present, and I have my little colors and stuff that I use, and I address a card. It's the same thing I do when I ship out an order on Poshmark, just because I like doing that kind of stuff. But people appreciate packaging and taking the time for those types of things. It makes them feel special.
Well, there are sites where people just actually do nothing but unbox their stuff. I mean,
right.
they come on and unbox whatever it is they're unboxing, and upload the video.
Right. I like that too. Even when I went and bought some perfume at the store, the lady, she just could have stuck it in a bag and said thank you, but she took the time. She put it in the box. They put the black ribbon on it, tied the box up, and did some
Mhm.
other stuff, and then wrapped the paper around it, stuck it in the bag, and did the whole thing. I was like, okay,
It made you
this
feel
is
special, right?
right. And like Dr. Tachi says, her clients are probably wowed and just like, oh my gosh, we can wow people this Christmas. We don't have to. We don't have to just be like everybody else or
Mhm.
in a hurry.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You can order some stuff on Amazon and get it delivered. And we can do the hurry thing, or we can take some time and put some effort into
Put
the
some
gifts.
thought and let's put
Yeah,
some love into stuff.
right.
Okay. Bruna says the cards are I and Ariana's connection that doesn't involve her care requirements. I put them for her something.
Cable account.
Thank you for her cable account.
Cal Able account.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
Cal Able. Yes.
And
Okay.
then Brenna also says everything that is mass produced was once skillfully crafted and created, wasn't it though?
Hmm.
Bread used to
Yeah.
be bread used to be handmade, and you can go by the baker that morning and
And
they bake the
smell it. Oh
bread.
my gosh.
And I don't know if in New York do they are they still allowing you to go to the bakery, and you know what I'm saying? You went to the corner bakery
Mm-hmm.
and got you picked
Yeah.
up a loaf of bread, and hi, Mr. Baker, or whoever it is, and
Yep, you could smell those donuts when we be walking to school. You could smell they've been baking for hours. You know, just yeah, yeah. So Brenna
Absolutely.
says she appreciates handmade. I think we all do, Brenna. Mm.
and she's right. It used to all be handmade, and now people are, you
But
know,
but we're returning to that cottage industry for those special things because of what
Oh,
you just said.
absolutely. I, the growth of the, although I can't stand them, hipsters. Um, they were really the ones that cultivated this. People, we had an appetite, but in the age of industrialization, those things became like poor folk stuff. We want the brand spanking new off the assembly line stuff, and so it was almost like a sign. Even though industrialization made things cheaper, but
Hmm.
it was almost as if it was a status symbol to be able to go and get something that's mass produced as a home opposed to the homemade thing. It's like that joke with Eddie Murphy when he was like, everybody else went and got McDonald's, and my mother was like, I'll make you something better. And it was a big old home hamburger, which, by the way, tasted a million times better than McDonald's. But
right,
it's that whole cultivation of this lifestyle. Oh, I can buy this, I can buy that. But now we're getting back to seeing that the handcrafted, that the things that are done with care, even if it's not, if it's automated in some senses, that it's special, and that it's not like what you can go and buy on the shelf. And because
Hmm.
things that are on the shelf have to be mass produced in a certain way, certain things, suffer because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
right.
Yep.
I know a person who make great barbecue sauce. And I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, this sauce is good. But then they had to mass produce it and get it on the shelves. They had to take the recipe and change the recipe, trying to keep it the same flavors, but you couldn't do what they did in a large volume. And so it suffered some stuff. So
Hmm.
now it's like everybody else's barbecue.
Hmm. Because of shelf life and a whole lot of other things, shipping and time, all these things affecting the taste.
Yep.
Brenda says she appreciates homemade. She makes a statement brands took over. And then Patricia over here is saying marketing makes a huge difference. Lobster was poor folks food until marketing elevated it to gourmet status. Yes.
Right.
Right. Same
Hmm.
thing with chicken wings. I mean, not that it's gourmet, but they have, people didn't eat the wings before. That was the part that you threw away. But then, because it was African Americans, actually, a man named John King, who actually revolutionized a store called John King's Wings and Things. The Anchor Bar in Buffalo bought the recipe. So now they're really the ones that get the credit
Credit.
for the development of chicken wings. But no, it was John King, a black entrepreneur. So a lot of these things that were the throwaways are now, because and that's the interesting thing. When certain groups deem these things worthy, that's when it gains notoriety. But when
Hmm.
it's other people eating these things or using these things, nobody cares. It's like, we've been doing that for years, but nobody seems to care when it's that group doing it. It's only when the certain groups, the ones that are popular or that are deemed to have power in society, say this
Hmm.
is great, then it becomes great.
Well, then it becomes ubiquitous, and then we can't buy wings at the store, or the chickens now come with no wings.
Hmm.
Yuck.
Or the wings don't have any bones. But
Right.
I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. I do have one story I
One
want.
story, go
Yeah,
for it, Terry.
I want to say. Did you know that the Well, I got two running through my head. Let me stick to one. Apple, their Apple employees are set to return to the office on February 1st in a hybrid work pilot. It says that Apple employees will return to the offices starting February 1st as part of a hybrid work pilot and will be able to work remotely for 4 weeks a year. So now instead of all year long staying home, you only get to stay home 1 month out of the year. And this is according to the CEO, Tim Cook. Let me tell you how this works. The pilot will start workers at 1 or 2 days in the office starting in February. Then in March, workers will come to the office to work on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. They'll be able to work from home on Wednesdays and Fridays. So, in other words, we're jerking your commute around every other day. Some employees may be asked to come into the office 4 to 5 days a week if their roles require more time in the office, according to The Verge. Um, he announced this hybrid model in June when the company was planning a September return to offices, remember? And then they moved that back to October, then January, now to February. Some Apple employees pushed back strongly against the hybrid model. They don't like the idea. So all we know is that the Apple stores, following worldwide closures, the Apple stores during the height of the pandemic in 2020, the company reopened its retail stores earlier in the year with mask requirements. So here we go, guys. Is there going to be a pushback now? People love working from home. What do you think? Can they get? How are we gonna keep them down on the farm after they've seen Peru? Okay, they try to keep on the farm,
It's on the
and
stage.
I don't.
I'm wondering if she has any thought on this, or not.
Anybody?
Anybody, yeah.
Um,
Because it's getting.
On
Alexis,
what? Yeah, on what?
on Apple going back to work hybrid.
Yeah, people, employers trying to entice people to come back to the office buildings that they're paying rent on.
Well, Apple owns their own building, so there's not a issue with that. They didn't
Well,
lease the building, but
Right.
well, the thing is, if we
yeah.
keep when we talk about tech stuff, you don't want people out there where they can be recruited, which is why they allowed them to bring their dogs to work, had all the
Mhm.
cafeterias, we delivered
But
the food to
they,
the desk
if somebody gonna recruit them, they can come talk to them. When they off work,
virtually now. Mhm.
they can. If somebody's gonna come and poach you or try and poach you, they
Yeah.
can do it. They don't have to just because you in the building. Don't mean they're gonna stop.
Well, what do you think about this? Do you think people want to come back? Apple's employees are pushing back.
Well, now the store, they can't.
That's
The store
that's
has to be. The store is the store, so you
yeah.
don't get to kind of work from home from the store. Their tech support has always been from home.
Right.
So, who's going into the office? I guess somebody. I guess the teams have to meet if they're going to come up
I
with new
guess.
products and things. I don't know.
Oh, they could meet in the metaverse, but we don't want to go down that road.
But shut up, Terry. Terry be stirring up stuff. We are not trying to do that.
Well,
Uh,
we have a Facebook person here says, when I decide that
I
it's
was
great,
going to
it's
answer the question, but
It's okay.
Go ahead,
At some
Alexis.
point, I'm thinking at some point you want people. At some point, you don't want to be in your house if you can avoid it. I mean, I get it's comfortable, but at some point you want to have some resemblance of life going back to normal. The question is, what are you giving me? Like Dryer always says, well, what am I not doing if I have to travel and get to you and the kids and the stuff? So if you're not giving me incentives in that way to allow my coming into the office to be easier, then no, I don't need to come into the office for that. I can stay home and I can still work from home. So it's what the incentives that they're giving, because there's a benefit for people who most times people are loving the fact that they're staying home for the benefits they're getting of being home. of not having to go in that traffic. And if they're going to have to do that, are you compensating people for that? Because before you didn't have to. People were like, I just got to go to work. Now you need to compensate people for having to get in that car and have to drive to work. You need to compensate people for having to drop off their kids someplace so that they are available to you for work. And the paycheck that you're giving me don't always necessarily compensate for all that extra stuff. Now that I've seen how much different it is when I'm home compared to when I had to go to work every day. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
A lot of sense. Plus
Okay.
$5 a gallon.
Yeah, Terry, I was going to mention that. Go ahead.
$5 a gallon for gas. Your time on the road. Some of us had like 90-minute commutes, 60-minute commutes. That's two each way. That's 2 hours out of the day. That's a lot of time out. That's 10 hours out of the week. It can be, and not to mention now we're here and now we got to pay you for lunch because in a lot of cases we didn't have time to pack the lunch because we didn't plan. There's just, or the office is always having some kind of party. Now I got to buy gifts. I got to show up for lunch. I got to interrupt my work time. There's a lot of stuff that goes through your mind now that didn't go through it before, that goes along with being in a social setting at work. So I'm complete. I think we're ready for TJ, unless someone else.
Anybody else want to comment
about this? We have some comments over here on Facebook.
Yeah, let's see the comments.
Okay, it says my office is my apartment, and I haven't even gone back into the office. Yeah, they say the real question should be: has their productivity been reduced as a result of working from home? Assumption or fact, normal should not be the measure. It should be productivity and performance.
Okay.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, I like that. The productivity. Am I being more productive at home?
Yeah.
Then
you on the other hand, like you said, they have office space they have to pay for, like rent and commercial space. So
okay, whose fault is that?
True.
Okay, so if you own it, okay, like the state of California, they lease a lot of buildings here in Sacramento. That the state is leasing buildings all over the place. And so maybe even if you're leasing them, does that mean you got to bring everybody back in? You just need to renegotiate that lease, or because the people being in there, you now have to turn on the heat. You got water bills, you got sewer, you got all this other stuff.
You got insurance.
And yes, insurance. Okay, yeah. So
can I chime in really quickly?
Sure.
So all they have to do is look at, and I know I get this is a certain type of thing, but when I was in the master's program, I temped the entire time, and there's a plethora of places to temp in Washington, D.C. So I worked for a company called Friends and Company, which was a great company, but they only had, I think they had more than one location, but their office was just big enough for the office staff, but they had like hundreds of people that worked for them. How did that happen? Because they were working out in the field, basically, right? So same thing with my mother's business. She has a home healthcare agency. She owns an office building, but it doesn't house all of these employees that she has, because a lot of them work in the field. So if they adopt that approach where, okay, we're only going to get a building or an office that's enough for the office staff to run the operations of the office, everybody else can basically work from home. Or maybe there are co-working spaces where you can do things together rather than, I think the idea of having a huge building to do things, or even a huge campus, is an antiquated one. Unless you're trying to provide an atmosphere that makes people happy to be at or like like an Apple or a Google or DreamWorks or something like that. But even then, when times are not so good, then you're left with this behemoth of a campus that you really can't manage, and you still have to pay the electricity bill.
And I think that the pandemic has freed us up from a lot of these expenses and has forced entities like governments to be able to operate remotely, because in a lot of cases they felt if they were dealing with the public, they had to have a place for the public to come into, sit and wait to see somebody. Whereas now, they're not trying to have you come to an office during the pandemic. They had to switch to video appointments.
The
So
court
yeah.
our court here is by Zoom. You don't get to come up in the courtroom. So
there's been a lot of shifting. So we got to move on. So I just wanted to put that on your minds that 2022 they're going to be trying to get folks back into the office, and we need to figure out how we're going to deal with that.
I just have to say it is really time for companies, for organizations to evolve. Get up your butt and start evolving. And I think that is the gift of the pandemic. I, for one, for years have been tired of this presence over productivity model. And I've told this story before. When I used to work for PricewaterhouseCoopers, everybody knew that one of the partners would walk the floor right after 5 o'clock. This is what he did. So what happened? Everybody would look busy, whether they were busy or not, at the time that he walked by, because they knew that he was watching what was happening the rest of the day. This whole idea of people having to be in their seat for someone else's comfort is completely ludicrous. I know that I worked within an organization as a consultant, and that was one of the things that I negotiated. I said, listen, this is the metric upon which you are measuring my success, right? This is what you are paying me for. How I get there is up to me, not up to you. So there will be days that I come in for 2 hours. There will be days that I come in for 8 hours. It's irrelevant, because what you are paying me for is these results. If you're okay with that, we have a deal. But if you want me to stay sitting in a desk because somebody else is going to be jealous that they can't leave, then get somebody else.
All right, Mark.
That's right. Tell him, Mark.
All right. Looks like TJ is up with This Week in Social Media.
Hello, everybody. Let me see. It got dark. Hold on. I want to turn my light on. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
We just want to give a shout out to everybody in Clubhouse.
That would be Ann and Jasmine and Alexis. Mark, Dr. Tachi, Dryer Buzz was over there. Some other people. We want to say thank you
for tuning in and joining us, TJ.
Okay, I'm ready. I was like, why is it so dark? I forgot to turn on the light. Okay, this week in social media news, we're going to start with Spotify. Spotify has launched a lyrics feature for the free and paying users. Now, I checked this out. So what it is that when you look in Spotify with the song, there's a little bar, a colored bar at the bottom. I believe it says the lyrics, and then you tap it or swipe it up, and you get to see the lyrics for the song you're listening to. But you can also tap and hold the lyric that you want to share on social media. So that's the social part of it. Okay. So it's Spotify. So they, adding a little something there. Moving on to Clubhouse. Now Clubhouse is live captions for iOS users. Has anybody seen it yet? Because I haven't been on Clubhouse.
Oh,
to see.
You all are on Clubhouse. Do you see live captions? Anybody? Anybody with an iOS?
With iOS only.
I haven't looked. I know they rolled it out, but
Ann?
Yeah,
let me see. I'm gonna go.
And it's
Ann says yes.
Watching what comes across the screen.
Woo!
Okay.
And you have to turn it on.
Once you do your latest update, you click on the 3 dots at the top, and then it has show captions.
Oh, right.
You can see the captions.
Okay, TJ, show it on. Hold your phone up if you can. Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's nice.
that is good stuff.
That's a winner right there.
And you know, oh well.
So it's closed caption basically of what we're saying. Is that what's
Yes.
going on?
So
Well,
let me
Dr. Pachi, go ahead with your thought.
go ahead.
No. I was this is a good start to things in terms of accessibility.
Mhm.
Which
Yes.
is why I suspect they did this. Here's where, and this is not a Clubhouse problem. This is a problem with the industry in general. They tend to use the voices, very what they call neutral voices, but it tends to mess up when other people speak. Now, I personally think I speak the Queen's English. However, when I go to do things and I look at transcriptions, it's completely different.
Mhm.
And so I'm wondering who they're using as a model for these voices when it comes to that. So that's something that the industry has to fix. That's not necessarily Clubhouse.
Right.
Yes, Dr. Tachi, because some of the words that they're picking up based on what is being said is not the same.
Correct.
And I know I need to speak more clearly, but I understand as well. There are some people who are like, I was listening to a guy pick up a Jamba Juice order. He had a very strong accent. Siri was not going to get him. Neither was, because you know what I mean.
Yes.
You're okay.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't gotten there yet. They need to fix it, but
Right. But it is an effort. So because
It is.
And it's a nice feature.
Twitter Spaces has live captions, and they also had the replay features and things. So Clubhouse is trying to catch up or stay relevant.
well, I'm saying Clubhouse is easier than Spaces for me. For whatever reason, this is a lot easier functionality than Spaces. I don't know if anybody else finds that true.
You know what I find true about Spaces? I don't know when the hell Spaces occur, because whenever I'm on there, there's never anybody that I get, at least I'm following, conducting the space. So out of sight, out of mind for me.
All right, TJ.
Okay. Snapchat has added a few things into their app. So number 1, Snapchat has added memories and the exploration feature to the Snap Map. Now, Snap Map is the option at the bottom where you go and tap it, and you can see your location. And actually, if you zoom out, it's like Google Maps or anything other map feature. You zoom out and you get to see, say, the whole United States, or you can go to other countries. And what happens is that when people have snaps, or they've added things to their Snapchat that are public, you get to see them on the map and you can tap them. Now you can opt out of Snap Map, which means that you can set it to private, and then nobody but you sees what's on the map. But they've added these 2 layers. So memories are the you can go and it's like an archive. You can go and see your older snaps from wherever, if you kept them. And the exploration is just a search. You can, you just zoom out, and then you can see, you can go to another state and you'll see the little icons that show the snaps that they've added publicly, because, Snapchat has a public and a private side.
Okay.
So this is called Map Layers. Features for the Snap Map built around local content. So now the first 2 layers, there's more layers to come, but the first 2 layers is called Memories and Explore. All right.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Snapchat has partnered with Sony Music, and they have plans for a new AR music lens. So they're able to include fully licensed Sony Music artists' music in your snaps, and you can send them to other users, or you can put them on Snapchat Spotlight. Now, Spotlight is that section where people were able to make public snap videos like TikTok, and they were getting paid. Remember, Snapchat was doing like was it $1 million a day or something? They had to change it.
They were paying some money out.
The Spotlight, right? So
Dr. Tachi laughed.
Oh, okay.
They
So
didn't think that
so what
through
it
at
is,
all.
Snapchat has a deal with Sony Music to include the music library to use in the snaps, because Snapchat is trying to be more TikTok like. All of these apps want to be like TikTok. So this is one of their options they're putting in. So they're featuring a sound lens with a pre-select song embedded into the lens, a lens that transforms pictures of anyone to appear as if they're singing a song, and then they have cameo sound lenses that apply visual effects. Right, so that's what's going on with Snap. Oh, one more with Snapchat. Snapchat has also added a food scan capacity to provide recipe matches for food items, and one of the examples that they showed was eggs on the counter, and you scan them, and then they have a partnership with allrecipes.com, which is a website where people
Oh, I
put their
remember them talking about that. Okay.
right. So if you put it on the eggs, recipes will pop up from allrecipes.com that involve eggs, because all recipes, the website, you can search by item. Like if you know, I need chicken recipes, you type in chicken, or you say, I have these ingredients, and you put the ingredients in, and all recipes will give you recipe suggestions based on the items you put in the search feature. So that's how this works.
That's pretty good. Instagram does that too.
Do they?
I mean, Instacart.
Oh.
Right.
Instacart does that when you're shopping for something. You thinking you're getting
Put
ready
the
to cook
items in.
and it tells you what recipe goes with those items.
Right. So if you haven't visited allrecipes.com, you'll see that there. But now Snapchat is partnered so they can use the AR feature in their lens. So you just point at the items instead of, going to allrecipes.com and typing it in.
Nice.
Okay. So let's see. That's it for Snapchat. Let's move on to I got a lot of scrolling here. TikTok.
TikTok, before we go, anybody in the clubhouse, if you have a question or if you want to weigh in on anything that is being said, just raise your hand and I'll make sure that we bring you up. Go ahead, TJ.
Okay. Twitter. Let's go to Twitter. Twitter buys Threader it's a part of their Twitter Blue, which is their subscription feature. We talked about it was $2.99, and I said I was going to try it, but I changed my mind because it doesn't have anything I want to use. I don't need it. So they've acquired Threader. Now Threader it still is. It's going to shut down on December 15th, but it's an app within Twitter that you tag it at Threader, or you say at Compile. There's some keywords that you use because there's different ones, but what they do is they gather tweets that are connected in a thread, and you can see it in a PDF. It gives you a PDF. It gives you an all-in-one view instead of, you have to scroll
Rolling
to
through
each in the thread. So the app is called Threader. So Twitter has bought the app and put it inside of Twitter Blue.
Okay, it sounds like if somebody was going to check up on you for your tweets for a job interview or something, they would be able to go back in.
Well, it doesn't work like that. It's not a search. This is for a thread. Like, they're connected. The tweets are connected, not the ones that are disconnected, like when you go to Twitter search. So say somebody talks about Adele, like Adele's album came out and they put a tweet. They put more than one tweet because remember there's a 280 character limit. But they have more to say. So they put the first tweet, and then when you're setting up the tweet, there's a plus sign to connect them all like a thread.
Okay.
So it's not
okay. I get it. So you have a whole article instead of just one tweet. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah. So people do that a lot, and you can tell that it's a thread because you'll see the first tweet, and then it'll be the next one under it. And it's really awkward to read them like that. So this Threader, if you use I think it's at Compile. If you tweet at Compile, it will go in and gather them all and combine them into one long document, and it makes a PDF and it sends you the link. But so Twitter has bought Threader and put it inside of Twitter Blue. But there are other Threader Compile apps other than Threader. There's a few. So, they're putting it inside of Twitter Blue. So you'll want that and you'll pay the $2.99. And I'm like, I don't need that because there's others that are still outside of your subscription that I can use. So
and I was gonna ask you, so I'm not a big Twitter person, but I know you
Mhm.
are. So I was going
Right.
to ask, is this, a value to you? You just answered my question.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an annoyance to scroll and tap and scroll, and they just put it all in one document. It's just convenience. I don't
Mhm.
need to pay $2.99 a month for convenience like that. I could just use another Threader app. I think
Mhm.
there's 2 or 3 more that have
Mhm.
different names. And you use the command word. This one is compile, another one is unroll. I can't remember the name of that app, but you type at unroll, and it automatically bot comes along and sees the tweet with the thread and
Uh-huh.
puts them all together and sends you a link, and it's easier to read in a PDF form. That's all it is. It's just easier to read somebody's thoughts. That's it.
Okay.
So I'm not paying the $2.99. So, but there are people that want this, so let them have it.
Let's see what the market
Have it.
does.
Okay. Another item from Twitter. Twitter is rolling out its tipping feature to Android users. Now, remember, they have this the tips feature on your profile, and it was iOS only, where someone could go to your profile, tap it, and send you money using Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, and Patreon. It was iOS only. Now it is Android users. So Android users can set this up to receive tips from the profile. So you just go to your edit your profile, and the option will be there to add it.
Okay.
Okay, so that was iOS when it came out. I think it was when did it come out? I don't remember the date, but it came out earlier this year, and it was iOS only. So now it's Android too on the app.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
TikTok. Just some data information. TikTok usage surpassed Instagram this year among kids aged 12 to 17. This is according to survey findings published by Forrester this week. Now this is bad news for Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, better move for Meta. Okay.
Yeah, for Meta. I keep forgetting that that's what they call themselves. So Meta. So this is from CNBC. More Americans between the ages of 12 and 17 are using TikTok than Instagram on a weekly basis. Again, this is from Forrester survey. Facebook, it said last month that they're trying to appeal to younger users with, by adding reels and all the things that they have. So they're trying to keep people on Instagram, but it's not working. So
It's not working.
it's
I'm
not
a-
working, Meta. It's not working. So they're saying 63% of Americans between the age of 12 and 17 use TikTok on a weekly basis, compared to 57% for Instagram.
And Dr. Tachi, did you want to weigh in? Because
Right.
I saw your.
Yes, I just wanted to say, well. That's
Oh.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, because the whole Instagram is cluttered like the other place. And so the kids, they don't want all of that stuff. They just want to get to the videos and do what they do. And so TikTok is really clear. It's not
Right.
cluttered.
Yeah. So this was from one of the people an analyst at Forrester said, we heard from Gen Z youth that they find TikTok to be funnier and more positive versus other social media platforms. One of the strongest advantages is creator community in TikTok. And then Fran just said that what they said in this couple paragraphs, Fran just said that it's easier and they like it more. So they're going to use it.
Yeah.
And Instagram has too many things.
I get confused. I'm like, wait, we doing reels? We doing a video? We doing stories? What am I doing over there?
Too much.
And I think the problem is you have too many things that you have to try to get engagement from.
Right.
Like, if because they keep picking and choosing what they're going to put out. TikTok, if you do a 15, a 16, or a 3-minute video, people going to see it. If you go back over to Facebook or you go to Instagram, you got more stuff to put out, and still not everybody who should see it will see it.
Gets to see it. That's correct.
Exactly.
Right.
So therefore, it's like, why am I wasting my time here when I could be here? And I know people gonna see it.
Right.
It's gonna show up. It's gonna populate. It's gonna, you know, I'm not worrying about. Well, some might see it, some might not. People gonna see it.
Right.
It's one place. It's the
And if
feed.
Facebook would just let people see their stuff, they probably do better.
Mhm.
Right.
No, that's mine. No.
Thank you, Alexis. She's right. They just, okay, y'all was doing good letting people see it when we first got over here.
Yeah.
And now you did the bait and switch. We over here, and now
You can't reach your audience. Mhm.
So, and they added one more thing. They're saying TikTok is not the top social media app among American Gen Z. That belongs to that honor belongs to YouTube, which they're saying in 2021 is used weekly by 72% of American teenagers, up from 69% in 2020. So they're saying American teenagers, because TikTok worldwide is top in that group. But they're saying in the American teenage group, it's YouTube.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
and YouTube is also easy and uncluttered.
yeah.
Mhm.
And let me tell you, my kid,
Go ahead.
they do TikTok too. Because if you see my feed, you see I got munchkins who be all up on it. I can't get them off. But they also are big YouTube. If the only reason why they're not on YouTube is because they can't get a channel, really. But as soon as I can set up a channel for them, they'll be up there doing putting up stuff, and they watch it constantly. All the music my son who's into soccer, he'll put on YouTube. He know how to navigate YouTube better than me. Put on his soccer thing, learn some different moves. The moves that boy be having on the field, I be like, where'd you learn that? Because I ain't teach you, and they ain't teach you, but he got all his footwork and everything watching YouTube. So yeah, I get a test, and they only 7 and 10.
See?
Yes.
Right.
10.
There it is.
I get a test. Yep, that's probably so true.
There it is. First-hand data. You can't get any better than that. YouTube and TikTok for Gen Z. Now, why do we talk, and I always try to mention, why do we talk about Gen Z so much, is because one, the older generations will follow behind their habits, and two, Gen Z will get older and they carry their habits with them.
Right.
So they're going to age out, but they're still going to like YouTube or TikTok, and then they might like whatever new app that comes, because the younger, was it Generation Alpha and whoever's to come, we're going to start looking at what they do. So, but usually you stick with what you like. So that's why older generation is they're hanging on to Facebook for dear life, because they like that.
Jasmine raised her hand in Clubhouse. Go ahead, Jasmine.
Hey, thanks for bringing me up. And hi to everyone. I just wanted to also add on to this about this topic, just about like the meaning behind the reason why each platform was created, like, or the format that each platform is created for. So yeah, I agree about like the, YouTube and how people are able to use it for a video, but that's what it's created for. TikTok, same thing. And so I think like whenever anyone's choosing to use whatever form of, whatever social platform you choose to use, like we have to remember or keep in mind, like, what was the purpose? Instagram was not created for video, even though that's what they're trying to transition to, because that's what people are consuming more of now on TikTok and YouTube. But that's not what it's created for. So I think, to me, naturally, it's going to have a lot of bugs and kinks and things like that to be worked out as they reformat, and decide this year, like, to reformat it to include video more. But yeah, no, I agree with everything everyone said, especially Alexis, just about like the simplicity of it. But the reality is that these companies are businesses and they're not going to stay the same. I think, even TikTok is going to change at some point. And it's just about being adaptable, but also keeping in mind, like, on the platform that you choose to, stay on and stick on, like understanding, like, what was it really created for?
Right.
That's all I want to add.
Thank you, Jasmine.
She's right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so speaking of Instagram, Instagram has this week they've rolled out paid badges to all US creators. Now the badges I've seen a test because I think Mario Armstrong I followed a few months ago. He had it, so he went live, and then there when you go live, there's an option for you to purchase badges. I think they were 99 cents, $1.99 or $4.99. And they show up as 1, 2, or 3 hearts next to your name if you're, paying the creator during the live stream. So it was a test before early this year, but now Instagram's saying that they're pushing this out to everybody. So this is a way for, creators to get make money and support on Instagram Live.
So this is like super chat on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
So chopped liver no more, we are not. The words of Yoda. Okay.
Now, Instagram says they won't take a cut of any revenue paid to creators until 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So it's free for now.
And we don't know what that cut's going to be.
Yeah, so they're saying to be eligible creators need to reside in this country, that means US, be over 18 years old, have a creator or business account on the platform, and have at least 10,000 followers. So that is one of the things, you have to have 10,000 followers.
You see what I see? You see that right there?
But that's not everyone then.
Right.
That's not every bloody one. Liars.
Yeah, so I don't know why Instagram has this cutoff of 10,000, because they had that cutoff for the swipe up link and stories, but now they gave that swipe up link to everyone. So I don't know their reasoning.
Okay, the more.
I'm sorry,
go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
Well, I was going to say, and I think Jasmine can probably co-sign on this. This is, rather than moving away from the model of numbers being the end all and be all, and moving to a better metric. I'm not saying numbers don't matter, but a better metric is level of engagement. If you can have 10,000 followers, and I've seen this before, and you only ever have 17 people that like or comment, how effective is that? So they're moving backwards, in my opinion. There are a lot of micro influencers, people that have 5,000 followers or less, that are doing phenomenal things, that have phenomenal content and have high engagement. So I'm not liking their You're supposed to set the standard for what it should be. But again, who owns it? So I'm not surprised. I retract everything I said. Go on.
No, you're right, Dr. Taji, right. Again, why this arbitrary, it's 10,000? Why? Just open it up to everyone. You did it with the link feature, and it made a sticker and story, so do this.
So what I've learned.
To remember.
Go ahead, Jasmine.
I think we have to remember that badges is new for Instagram. It's not, So same as when what's the program for YouTube with the
super chat?
Super chat. Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, that was only rolled out to a select few people in the beginning, like in the trial period too. So to me, I think it's just a way for them to be able to manage it better, and eventually it will be rolled out to everyone. But I mean, it's still a new product or service that they're offering for Instagram and Facebook, because Facebook has stars. So, I think just we give it time, and they probably see how it works and how people are responding to it, and how they can distribute the money and distribute the distribution of the money to the creators. I think that's same thing with Clubhouse. Clubhouse did the same thing.
Right. So. Jasmine, their time is up. That's very Christian of you to want to.
Tachi, you are relentless. I know you're relentless with Instagram.
I am relentless because they should have been. How long have they been entities, and how long have they really known that they should have had a way for creators who are basically their bread and butter to compensate them, they should have been done this. So the fact that, and I get it, it's a new program and you're trying to not to have things crash. I do understand that. But you should have been working on this, because basically these creators have been creating things for bloody free for you, and you've been monetizing in the form of ads, etc. So now, not only you're not really even giving us a chance, you're saying, oh, okay, well now your audience, you're not even paying us. Now your audience can give you money. We're going to take a cut of what your audience, and it's not only them. A lot of people, YouTube does the same thing. But yeah, it's really interesting to me the fact that really, thank you for these platforms, because you're providing bandwidth and server space that we probably would not pay for ourselves. But without us, you don't have a platform. Let's just say that.
I agree. I just, like I said, I just keep that in mind, just that's the other side of it. I'm not saying that that's what it is. That's just my little estimation of like why it's taking a while. Because same thing for swipe ups, or now it's links. Like, how long was that? What, 3 years or something, since 3 or 4 years since they introduced the swipe ups? I don't even know the number, but I think it's just, they're probably going to follow a similar pattern. And honestly, I think that if it wasn't for because YouTube has had this for years, right? Super chat for years, but and Instagram wasn't really getting into it. But the more people have become more vocal about the fact, like you said, Tachi, like, yo, we are bringing and keeping people on your platform, and we have to hustle to get these influencer deals or creator deals, and maintain the communication with and manage the communication with these companies that want to work with us and partner with us to keep people on your platform, Instagram. Like, you need to do something. If they didn't get that pressure from people, and also pressure from competition, they probably wouldn't have moved this fast. In my opinion, I don't think they would have moved this fast. They probably still would have been chilling with, okay, y'all, just stay on our platform all day, and not thinking of ways to look out for the.
Okay.
Done? Okay.
I think I'm going to look into YouTube and TikTok a little bit more closely, just because, like I was saying, it was easier. When I was over there, I was like, oh, you get to walk around and there was no clutter, you're not tripping over stuff. And I'm like, I might have to stay over there a little longer.
Okay, we got a few more from Instagram. Instagram now lets you delete an image from a carousel. So remember, the carousel post is you can string up to 10 posts or images or video a combination of images and videos up to 10. The swipe feature where you're in the Instagram in a post. So there was people were annoyed that they couldn't delete one of the images from the carousel, like you had to delete them all. So they fixed that little item. They're also added something called a rage shake, and you shake your phone when something isn't working, and then the app's bug report interface will come up and ask you, is there a problem? And you put in the problem. Let's see what else. Instagram's if you haven't heard of their Threads app, I have it. I'm going to show it on the screen, but I'm also going to describe it for Clubhouse. So this is their standalone direct messaging app that they had. I forgot when this came out. 2019, before 2019. So it's an app called Threads, and you could see just your direct messages, not the other thing that you see in Instagram. And let me show you. It went to sleep. Oh, come on. Here it is. So for Clubhouse, can we see that?
I can see it.
So for Clubhouse, what it is, the Thread app, it shows your icon from Instagram, and then I'm in 2 groups, and then the people that I direct message, so you can see like Bonnie Frank is there, Dr. Taji's there, Dryer Buzz. So it's just a separate app. So if I wanted to send a message, all I do is tap there. And it goes to their stories too, which I don't want.
Okay, so this is an app.
Yeah, this. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so it's just an app. Oh, I'm trying to left to right. So it's just
There
an
you go.
app that did direct messaging.
So instead of trying to go find these people on
Instead of
Messenger and
right,
somewhere else,
instead of going to Instagram.
or instead of going to
But
Instagram.
this is Instagram direct messages, not Facebook. This is before Facebook combined everything. They made this app, but now they're getting rid of it because they don't need it because now they've combined Facebook messaging, WhatsApp, direct messages, and Instagram together. So it's the Threads app. A lot of people didn't know about it. I forgot I had it. And I was like, wait a minute, I have that. and I never use it.
Dr. Tachi?
Oh no, I'm clapping. I talked about that yesterday. The fact that Threads, did anybody even know it existed? I forgot all about it.
No.
And that's what's going to happen for some of that other app that you mentioned, TJ, on for Instagram. It's not going to. It's going to go away like Lyra or whatever that was. Where you trying to get
Libra. No.
Libra. Yeah, them.
Yeah, so Facebook has a lot of apps that they threw out, and now they're, we forgot about them. There was another one they had and nobody used, and they got rid of that. So this was an app before they combined all the messaging features into one, which is what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
So, and if you have business pages, I recommend you use Business Suite, because if you use the Business Suite app, you can see everything in there because it's connected through your business pages.
Right.
Okay. One more thing, Instagram. This was just a bit of news. A bipartisan group of state attorney generals, they're investigating how Instagram recruits and affects children. Mm-hmm. So now they're not waiting for the government, federal government, to do whatever. There's a bunch of states that are getting together and they're looking into possibly suing or reprimanding or whatever they're going to do. So this is California, Florida, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Nebraska, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, Texas, and Vermont. They are looking at whether Meta violated consumer protection laws and put the public at risk on a state level. So remember, they were called to the carpet for the whistleblower and all that. That was the federal levels, and now a bunch of states are getting together. So we'll see what comes out of that. And the last thing from Meta, Facebook has now they have a test for the news feed. Changing the control that lets people see less from groups and pages. So if you have a group or a page, this is not great news. So it's going to let people control. You can always control what you see on your Facebook feed, but now they're adding more features. So this is a test that lets you raise or lower the volume of content you see from friends, groups, pages, and relevant topics. So this is their example. They said if a relative posts too often while a favorite group hardly shows up at all, you can balance the appearance in your preferences and you control what you see in your feed. But there's all kind of things to change your feed in Facebook. There's a favorite, there's a snooze, there's an unfollow, there's a snooze for 30 days. There's all kind of things in there. So they're adding more controls to allow you to control your feed, which is bad for groups and pages. So you want to be seen, but they're allowing people to fine tune them. Again, a lot of people don't know about these features in Facebook, so you might be okay.
Okay.
We'll see.
Because they got to go find the button.
Yeah.
And then figure out what it's for.
Right. So, but there's settings there. You just have to go and hunt for them. But you can change what you see. So I always say curate your feed. And you'll be happier, especially on Facebook, if you're using Facebook. If not, it's okay. All right. And that is your week in social media news.
All right. And then we have Dr. Tachi over in Clubhouse, who's going to fill us in on what's happening in media. Dr. Tachi, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. Well, it's morning for you all, but it's afternoon over here on the East Coast of the United States, and afternoon and evening everywhere else in the world. I'm Tachi. Let's talk media. Okay, so for those of you that were ready to boycott in front of the studios where Jeopardy is shot because Levar Burton did not get to host, Don't cry for him, Argentina, because he is now going to host a Trivial Pursuit game show. It's in the works at E1. So apparently this seems like a show that he'd like to host. He's teamed up with E1 to develop this TV game show adaptation of the classic board game Trivial Pursuit. He's going to host and executive produce the project through his production company, Levar Burton Entertainment. So obviously this came after he hosted Jeopardy! And he actually was one of the candidates considered to take on the permanent hosting.
Hold on. My phone just did something. Hold on.
Mark says,
My something just happened on
Mark
my
says,
phone.
I'm just going to say it.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Tati.
Okay, so the after he did that stint on Jeopardy, he actually was on The Daily Show and he told Trevor Noah that he was looking for the, quote, right game show to host. So, as I said, he's going to executive produce along with Tara Long and Gino McDermott from E1, but they don't have a broadcaster attached yet. And that's generally what happens with shows. I think sometimes people just like, they pitch to the network and it's not that networks don't pick up things. Absolutely. But often shows are created and in the can because when you go to pitch, they want to see some kind of finished project, I should say. And so you'll go in there with like 2 episodes, usually like the pilot and the second episode. So they've already probably produced some of this so that people can get an idea of what it would look like. So, but good for you, LeVar Burton. I am a LeVar Burton stan. All day, every day. And I was like, Jeopardy was great on Jeopardy, but I don't know if this is the show for you. I think there's something a little more dynamic and more exciting for you in the works. And here we go. Right. And not only that, but the executive produce this, which is a big deal. When you have those executive producer rights and you're also behind the scenes, I don't know how they would have worked it out, but he probably just would have been the host. You don't have any, skin in the game with that. So good for you.
Hey, Dr. Tati, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Since you mentioned that about the networks, do you think that, because now there's more options for shows, do you think that this show might make it to YouTube Originals or even like Facebook Watch?
So here's the thing that it depends on who's, fighting for it. Definitely Facebook Watch or Meta Watch or whatever the hell they're going to call themselves now. They want to beef up their originals slate. They don't have they won an Emmy in the Red Table Talks, but they're looking for more content because if they're really trying to be serious contenders in the content game, they've got to look for more. So it's possible that a Facebook Watch could go for it. It's possible that YouTube could go for it. It's possible that Tubi could go for it. All of these streamers and quote unquote what used to be called over the top, it's possible they could go for it, especially if the elusive network route is not going to be something that happens. But the cool thing is that there are so many more avenues now to get a show produced, especially if you're already a Hollywood insider like LeVar Burton is. He's already got an in, so it shouldn't be too terribly hard for him. I'm wondering now, I don't know a whole lot about Buzz and the Game Show Network and things like that. I know they show a lot of replays. Buzz, I think, does new stuff, but that's another thing that they could go to a network that specializes in game shows. So there are a lot of options with this. So if nobody else has any other questions on the meaning of life or anything, we're going to go on. So speaking of YouTube, that was just brought up. I don't know what I did to upset the social media gods, but it must have been something in my past life that I am not these wonderful individuals on YouTube. So I don't know how to say her name. I think it's Nastia, like Nastia. That's her channel. She's just crossed 250 million YouTube subscribers, and she is the biggest... She's the biggest creator in the kids field on YouTube. Now, remember before I talked about Ryan Toys, and Ryan is huge. He's got these deals with Mattel. I remember the terms, but he's got these deals to produce toys, his pictures on the package. He's got a channel now called Ryan's World. So it's going to be interesting to see as these young YouTubers age, what they're going to do, how they're going to transition. Does this even matter? Because they've got deals that will set them up forever. Even if they don't work again, when they turn 7, they'll be fine. So that's a good thing. So she's 7 years old, Nastia. And as I said, she just crossed 250 million subscribers across her portfolio of channels. Did you hear what I said? This girl has a portfolio of channels. So according to her manager, Eyal Baumel, and the CEO of Eula, which is a multi-channel network that reps her, she's the first kid creator to reach this milestone, and therefore she's the most subscribed child on all of YouTube. So she has, I said she's got a cross channels. She's got 15 different channels, featuring content that's translated into different languages like Spanish, Arabic, and Portuguese. And her network of YouTube channels counts 55 million subscribers and formally crosses the 250 subscriber threshold on November 8th, I should say. So good for you. But let me tell you her closest competitors. Vlad and Nikki have 218 million subscribers across 21 total channels. So when we talk about subscribers, they're not just talking about one YouTube channel. This is across different channels. Right. So that may be a hint to us, right? To if you're really trying to amass, well, first, damn it, master one channel, okay? And then you can you bloody master one channel? Then you can add something. But that's really the way to amass a lot of followers. You can get it on one channel. But lately, if you have the bandwidth, what I've been seeing is people who are interested in one thing and they're known for that one thing. There's a beauty vlogger that I watch, but she also does fashion. And she's like, to mix the fashion and beauty, you can, but what she's noticed is that people come to her channel for beauty. So she launched a whole other channel for the fashion end of it. And that's something that you can do. Well, good for you. She is, her family is from Russia, but of course they live in Florida. Good for you, Nastia. We'll be rooting for you, and I will be appeasing the gods with burnt offerings. So that can be.
Tachi, how do you spell her name? I wanted to search for her.
It's Nastia, and her channel is Like Nastia, Nastya.
Okay.
I like how her channel name is simple.
Exactly. If your channel is "This is the song that never ends," nobody is going to look for it. So it's Like Nastia. Very simple indeed. To the point. Absolutely. So I'm going to keep going because I don't want to hold us for too long. Let's talk about YouTube more. Google and YouTube have been slapped with a $26 million verdict in a video sharing patent fight. They're not perfect. So Google and its video platform YouTube owe nearly $26 million for infringing a streaming video patent owned by VideoShare LLC, according to a Texas federal jury. And this is from Reuters. So a jury in Waco, Texas found just Tuesday that YouTube streaming technology works in the same way as VideoShare's patented technology for converting a video to multiple formats and then transmitting it in the best one for the user's device. So, okay, I'm about to laugh again because when I read this, I'm like, have you gone bloody mad? So the jury rejected Google and YouTube's claim. So this is what they claimed, that they were right in going ahead and using this technology because, quote, the patent was invalid for containing well understood, routine, and conventional elements. Who died and made you the patent, trademark, and copyright police? If they have the patent already, you can't go then yourself and say, well, you know what, this is invalid because they didn't cross the I. Therefore, I'm going to use this technology because their patent is if you are grasping at straws. Come on, YouTube, Google. Come the hell on. You know better than that. So a Google spokesperson, Jose Castaneda, said in an email Wednesday that the company is still confident that the patent is invalid and that it didn't infringe and is evaluating its options. So your argument the person who graduated from law school from Cracker Jack, is that you are in your rights. This is what you're telling me because it's an invalid patent.
Okay.
That is a piss poor defense if I ever heard one. That's all you have? I don't know if it's just me, but I read that. I was like, you've got to be bloody joking.
Yeah, you need a new attorney.
Well,
I don't know. Google, YouTube, you might need to reevaluate who you have on your legal defense team. So actually, VideoShare was created in 1998 by 3 inventors who developed early streaming video technology, and they actually sued Google in 2019, alleging this infringement. So again, Google argued, amongst other things, that the patent was invalid because this is an abstract idea that had been enclosed in prior art. Okay, so piss poor defense. Moving on.
well,
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
that's okay. Beverly over here says they bank on you not taking them to court like most people who do this, that they can't afford to fight the big guys.
Exactly. That is so right. Because the average person, it's the expense of a trial and a court case. It's also the time spent, where there are a lot of people that go, you know what, forget it. Just let whatever. But they're like, look, I don't care if we go bankrupt. We're going to fight them for the principle of it, right? So, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm wondering if it sounds to me like they knew whoever their legal counsel was, they looked this all up.
Yeah.
And they knew, and they just like, okay, we made this mistake, but we're going to take it. We're going to take it down. We're going to keep it going because they don't want to act like they were wrong.
Oh,
perpetrating. It was okay to take this thing. So we're going to go down with the ship.
Yes, exactly. Just perpetrating. Go ahead, Doc.
And they're about to.
Because I really don't think it's Google per se. It's definitely the council. And the same council who said that was okay,
now
has to eat crow, and they don't want it. And so they're going to take it, they're going to fight this for that. Well, because to be honest, if they paid them, it wouldn't even matter to them. It honestly wouldn't. Whatever they're supposed to pay them is a drop in the bucket to the billions they already have.
Right.
Yes.
So why are you fighting this so hard? Pay the people,
like you said,
and get them out the face.
To save face, the principle of they're like, oh, well, we're not going. It's clear that you're wrong. It is very clear that you're wrong because your defense is flimsy. A jury saw right through that flimsy defense, and they rendered their verdict. And you're still fighting? All right, if you have it like that, go on. But I can assure you, the same result will happen when you keep fighting. So I'm like, at some point, just for also good PR's sake and to have good eye in the sake of the good in the eyes of the public, you just need to admit when you did something wrong. Yeah, it's your counsel, but you control them. You can fire your counsel. Or you can say, you know what, here's where it stops. We got caught. It's been a long time since let's just pay, and from now on, let's move on. But this also calls into question the integrity of some of the other things that you do as well. Do you come up with any of your other ideas? Because right now, actually, there is a lawsuit with Zuckerberg, and when in terms of the metaverse, and there's a haptic glove that they've come up with so that you could touch the metaverse. I'm sure you heard about that. Okay, well, they're being sued because there's another company saying they took that from us.
Oh.
Which I would not be surprised about, Master of None. But anyway, this is happening, and so Yeah, so let me move on quickly. I thought that was very interesting. Spotify news, TJ talked about Spotify. They're expanding into 6 new countries, including Venezuela and Iraq. It's going Venezuela, Iraq, Libya, Tajikistan, Republic of Congo, and Democratic Republic of Congo. They're now available in 184 markets, Spotify that is. And so in a blog post, Spotify promised this sweeping global expansion actually in February, and this is part of that global expansion. So since then, they've expanded into more than 80 new markets and added 36 languages to its platform. And some of the key territories are include places like across Africa, like Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Nigeria, and Zimbabwe. And then in September, they expanded into the Caribbean countries like Turks and Caicos, Aruba, and more. And the cool thing is, I reported this yesterday. I was doing something, only for Gospel 107, and I got a lot of messages in terms of from people in Bermuda, Bahamas. Oh yeah, we use Spotify or whatever. I have to use a VPN if I use Pandora. So Spotify is the thing of choice for a lot of people in the Caribbean. So that's what's going on there. Let me talk a little bit about Sesame Street. Sunny day, sweeping the clouds away, on my way to where the air is free. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? One of my favorite shows from when I was younger. They have introduced Ji Young, who is the first ever Asian American Muppet. Now, they've had Asian cast members on Sesame Street, but never an Asian American Muppet, and this is the first time. Now, that's interesting because Sesame Street has always been the bastion of diversity. So I'm really surprised that they had not had an Asian American Muppet up until now.
Muppet.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
I just said Muppet. Go ahead.
Yes, Muppet. So Ji Young is going to be her name. She's 7 years old. She's going to make her first appearance in See Us Coming Together, a Sesame Street special, which is going to air on Thanksgiving Day. Nice. So other celebrities of Asian heritage are also going to be in the special, including Simu Liu, Padma Lakshmi, and Naomi Osaka. So interestingly enough, the street's latest resident she has a really interesting connection to the whole name. So she's supposed to be Korean. In Korean, her name, traditionally the two syllables each mean something different. Ji means smart or wise. Young means brave or courageous and strong. But when they looked it up, she says, Ji also means sesame. So I think there was intention behind naming her Ji Young. So I think that's really cool. Congrats to the Sesame Workshop and Sesame Street for increasing the diversity that you already were known for. Yay. Hey. Now, going back to music for a minute, if anybody gives a damn, Tidal is launching a free streaming tier, it won't have ads yet. So if you remember, I had Tidal. The only reason I had it was because Beyonce's Lemonade was coming up. And it was a visual album, and I wanted to see what the hype was around the visual album. It was only being released on Tidal, so I signed up for the 30-day free trial. On day 28, bye-bye. It went away because I'm not paying. I am not paying for another thing. So I haven't had it since Beyonce's Lemonade came out, but it's called The Tidal Free. And it's aptly named. It's going to vary from the Hi-Fi and the Hi-Fi Plus tiers by offering a significantly lower bit rate for audio streaming. And they say they're also going to interrupt users periodically to remind them about Hi-Fi. This could change later, but for now, Tidal says they're not going to have ads. So if you're on the free tier, you're going to miss out on things like lyrics or offline downloads. But as we already learned, you could just go to Spotify and get the lyrics there for free because it's the lyrics are for free tier and for premium on Spotify. So on Tidal though, these things are only for the paid tiers of the service. And finally, according to Billboard, there's going to be a difference in how the service pays artists based on which streaming tiers they use. So for example, if a user has the free tier, their listening habits won't directly contribute money to your favorite artist. They're going to be paid based on a collective number of listeners. So that's different from the direct artist payout that's on Tidal Hi-Fi Plus. So if you're on that, 10% of your subscription fee will go to the most listened artist. So that's what's happening with Tidal. If you care, you may want to check it out because now they have a free tier. Let's talk really quickly about Miramax, Quentin Tarantino, and the NFT debacle. So, Quentin Tarantino, who you'll know from The Hateful Eight, from Kill Bill and Pulp Fiction popularity, is planning to jump on the NFT craze, but he's hit a speed bump because Miramax is actually suing him over his plans to release a line of NFTs based on Pulp Fiction, which is a 1994 film. So it's a line of 7 non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, that was announced by Tarantino and blockchain company Secret Network earlier this month. So it includes uncut and unreleased scenes from Pulp Fiction, and also some shots of the original handwritten script. Those who buy the NFTs are also going to get exclusives to extras like commentary from Tarantino as well. But Miramax was the company that released Pulp Fiction, was planning to release its own NFTs based on its film library. And they're saying that Tarantino doesn't hold the rights to release the NFT line and that his team expanded plans for the line after a cease and desist letter was sent. This is what they say. Pulp Fiction is one of the many beloved. Is Pulp Fiction really beloved? But okay, that's a weird word for Pulp Fiction. I don't think you could try. It's just, whatever. So it's award-winning, culturally iconic. It's films in the Miramax library. And with its brilliant storytelling and unique characters who still resonate with audiences more than 25 years later, so it was profoundly disappointing to learn of this deliberate, premeditated, short-term money grab by the Tarantino team to unilaterally circumvent Miramax's rights to Pulp Fiction through the illicit development, promotion, and distribution of NFTs. That's a lot of SAT words right there. So they were also called, Tarantino's team was also called reckless, greedy, had intentional disregard for the agreement. Apparently, according to the lawyer's statement, Quentin signed an agreement, and instead of following the clear legal and ethical approach of simply communicating with Miramax about his proposed idea, he did this. So Miramax is suing him. And Tarantino's attorney says this, that he was acting within his reserved rights to develop certain products based on Pulp Fiction, and according to the original contract, this includes print publications without limitation, screenplay publication, making of books, comic books, and novelization in audio and electronic formats as applicable. So Miramax and the lawyers say that NFTs are not applicable under Tarantino's reserved rights and do not contain any foreign language. Let me say this, though. NFTs were not around in 1994.
That is correct.
And if they really wanted to make a strong argument, now I'm not an attorney, but electronic could be perceived as encompassing NFTs in a sense, right? I think that what's going to happen is this is not the first case, because now that NFTs are a thing, I can bet you're going to have a lot of this type of thing going on, determining what does constitute breach of contract when it comes to developing things. The thing with that Miramax said money grab, which aren't you also trying to develop NFTs? Why are you trying to pose Tarantino as greedy when you are the greediest of them all, to the point that you sued him for that? So they know there's a lot of money to be made off of NFT, because if there wasn't, they wouldn't be going after him that hard.
Right.
Now, I don't know exactly the terms of the agreement, but this is going to be a lesson to see what happens in this case. And this is probably going to set precedent in a lot of other cases when it comes to content before the age of NFTs and then going forward.
Wow.
And that's what I have.
Well, thank you, Dr. Tachi. And want to thank everybody watching online live, listening in the clubhouse. We trust that you learned something today that will propel you forward. And you know, leave a comment as you have been doing online. And if you're watching the replay, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. And because, you know, we are nowhere near Miss Like, what's her name? Like, Dr. Tachi, what was the young lady's name?
Oh, sorry, I was speaking on Nastya.
Yes,
Nastya.
like Nastya, we ain't got it like that. But you can contribute by hitting the like button on our YouTube channel. We just want to appreciate all of you. We are thankful for you as Thanksgiving is coming up and we're thinking about the things we are thankful for. Mark, we appreciate you. Mark said he'll be starting a new YouTube channel where you can tune in and watch him waiting for something to happen.
I actually like it.
So thank you for subscribing.
Yes, and if we invite you to join the Biz Chicks community, just text BIZ to 33777. And we want you to have a very wonderful weekend. And we'll be back on Monday with Coffee, Tea, Thoughts, and Conversations. Terry?
Yes, we just want to remind you that you need to go to the front of your own line. Mark, we love you too. He says, have a fantastic weekend, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.